Today, for the first five, I want to share a clip in just a moment. The very wonderful Matt has it ready. Share a clip of something that presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren said over the weekend on stage as a policy position. Before I do that, though, I want to talk about where we are in the polling. I am sure, as I'm sitting here looking at you, that eventually Joe Biden is going to have to drop out of this race. The combination of his, and I don't wish mental faltering on anyone, but he's not doing well in keeping his act together. But secondly, I think all of the danger that he faces because the Democrats are going after President Trump on alleged Trump-Ukraine collusion is bringing to the forefront Biden's collusion and his son Hunter with Ukraine, with China, and his corruption it can't be ignored. He's going to be out of the picture. So we're going to be down on the left. If no one else gets in, we'll be down probably to Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. And actually the polling is showing that. Elizabeth Warren is moving up. She's likable, and especially she's now leading among college-age Democrat voters. They put her, Elizabeth Warren, as number one. So if you ask anyone, I think, on the street, what are the top issues facing America? What do we think about the issues that will affect America's future? Immigration makes almost everyone's short list. Bear in mind, Elizabeth Warren is one who called President Trump's idea of building a wall silly and stupid. Those earlier remarks when Trump was first talking about building a wall. She has opposed the idea of funding border security, funding the wall being built. And she has also been among the Democrats who are very sympathetic to sanctuary cities. So this is a person very sympathetic already to people in this country illegally. She's also one who does not seem to want to stop the open border problem we have. She was even in an article by Vox, which is a left-wing news outlet. On Vox, her views on immigration, even on Vox, were ranked as the most radical immigration ideas in the 2020 primary. So she's way out there on the far left on immigration. What they're calling her radical idea in the Vox piece was the idea that she's saying, why is it even a crime to enter America illegally? Why should that even be on the books? Let's take it off the books. She's literally calling for eliminating, I think it's 8 U.S. Code 1352 or something like that, eliminating that provision in federal law and saying just let them all come in. No reason to call that a crime. She has lamented the idea that we separate children from the people who bring them across the border until we can figure out whether or not those children are being trafficked or they really are the children of those immigrants. So all of that, this is an extremely open borders candidate, someone who's trying to encourage that we do not impose penalties for people entering America illegally. And now I want to play, the very happy Matt, what Elizabeth Warren had to say this past weekend. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, let me say this. So she was on stage being questioned. The organization that put this event on, by the way, was a huge labor union. So she's in a labor union setting. She's on stage. They have a question. This was actually a question appearing on camera on the screen. This is a guy who did the first half of his question in Spanish, and then he turned to English, and now we'll hear what he had to say.
How would you fix our immigration system and make sure we put our workers first?
That's terrific. So let me start with a statement of our values. Immigration does not make our country weaker. Immigration makes our country stronger. Yep. And here's how I see it. Part one, we need to expand legal immigration. Part two, we need a pathway to citizenship for the people who are here and here to stay. They are our neighbors. They are our brothers and sisters. They are here. We need a path not just for dreamers, but also a path for grandmas and for little kids and for people who came here to work on farms and for students who overstayed their visas. We need a path that is fair and achievable. It brings people out of the shadows. It is good for all workers, and we need to get them into our unions. That's part two.
It was interesting to watch that clip. The guy who's questioning her is obviously some official with this big union. I watched most of the clip. He never clapped. He never smiled. I think he's looking at her thinking, what in the world are you saying to all of these people that they, the union, represent who want jobs? Her answer to the question of how you're going to protect American workers with your immigration policy was legalize everybody, bring them all in, put them in the unions. That will somehow assure job security for American citizens. That's what she's saying. Last thing on the first five today before we turn to our wonderful guest in the studio is this. America has, at a minimum, inside our borders, the low end estimate is 11 million illegal aliens living in this country. An MIT and Harvard professor study last year said the number is really more like 22 million. Right here in Dallas, we have a hospital where we have babies. Well, Dallas is, it's in Texas, it's a border state, but we have a hospital here in Dallas where we had just last year 60,000 babies born to mothers who are illegally in America. So we have the anchor baby thing going on. We have somewhere between 11 and 22 million illegal aliens. And her answer to a young guy who's working in America, clearly legally, saying, what are you going to do to protect us, is let's let them all in and let's just make them all legal. And that, my friends, is today's First Five.